Hi and welcome to MelanieWass.com. This is Melanie Wass and I wanted to give you a few tips around using social media. It's about getting a basic handle on how to use it to extend your reach and promote your business, and it's not going to cost you anything but your time. Yeah, you can spend a little bit of money, but fundamentally it shouldn't cost you anything. So if you do this, and if you do it the way I'm suggesting, not only will you increase your business, but you're going to be so far ahead of your competition because you're going to get your name out there and people are going to get to know who you are and what you do. So let's move into the top 10 tips I've got here. Number one, decide up front how personal you want to be on social media. So some people give everything about what they're doing and when they're doing it and how they're doing it with and who they're doing it to or with. You have to think about how much you want to share about you. Now, it's good to share a little bit about you, but you don't have to be your soul. So it can just simply be, well, for instance, let me give you an example. I occasionally cook and I usually do baking. So if I've done something and I'm pretty chuffed with, I'll take a photo of it, lemon meringue pie or a frittatas or whatever, and I'll pop that on Facebook. Now, I'm not selling cookery or recipes or restaurants. It's got nothing to do with my business, but it lets people know, hey, Mel likes to cook a little bit, and particularly desserts. So that's something I might do once every now and then. It's not every week. It's just an extra little something to give them a tidbit about who I am and what I do. If I'm going to an event or a place, even if it's got nothing to do with business, then I'll sometimes take a snap and pop that up there with a comment about, oh, isn't this place fantastic? Has anyone ever been there? So it's about just trying to engage the audience with something that you're doing that lets them see a little bit about into your life. So if you've got kids and all the rest of it, that's a question mark whether you want to involve that. I'm probably not someone who proposes that you put a lot of stuff on there about your kids and etc. Just in terms of, you know, the viral nature of these networks. But the occasional pic, particularly if you can protect it, and we'll talk about that later. So if you're going to an event, particularly a business event, even better, that's cool. If you're going to Dancing with the Stars or a networking event or something and someone's there and presenting, great, pop up a little picture. I did that not long ago with a women's network event. There was a new committee voted in. I think I was the first one on Facebook with a picture of the new committee, and I got bucket loads of likes for that because it was the first time people saw it. So if you can get in there and get it in early, particularly around a business event type stuff, perfect. But all you're wanting to do is not be your soul, just give a glimpse into who you are and get a little bit of personality going through. So let's have a look at another one. If you can set up a system and then stick to that system, life will be so much easier. Not only will your life be easier, but you will have a consistent and strategic approach to the communication that you have on your marketing channel of social media. So you can always post extra beyond what the system has, but if you've got a system, and we'll talk about that in a second, if you've got a system, you know where you're going, you've got everything in place, and then if something else pops up, great, you can throw that into the mix as well. But apart from that, you set it and forget it, and you don't have to worry so much about it. You don't have to sort of all of a sudden think, oh my God, it's Thursday, I've not been on social media for a week and a half, what am I going to say? A system will prevent that. So let's talk about some of the things you might want to think about. Firstly, what kind of posts do you do? Well, some people are on there spamming almost. They're always telling you about what their latest deal is, what their latest product is, what their latest service is. Don't be that person. Publish 3 to 5 general posts, and we'll talk about what that might be later, for every 1 to 2 direct offers that you make. So it'll be here's an offer. Well, actually, no, let me take that back. It'll be, here's a tip. Here's a picture that you might want to look at. Here's an event I went to and you might want to be interested in that. Then, oh look, here's something I'm offering up, you might want to do that. Now that offer could be a download off your website. The offer could be a chance to have a chat to you over a cup of coffee. The offer could be a special price on something you're offering. It could be anything you like. An offer is just simply something that the other person sees has got value and you're providing it to them. It could be your normal price. It's just letting them know, hey, I've got this happening this week. Is anyone interested? So think about what kind of offers you can make, but don't sort of spam out the offers. Just provide one offer for every 3 to 5 posts that you do. And that advantage of that is you're going to engage the audience more if you're actually communicating with them and not throwing stuff at them. So keep that in mind. Think about what kind of offers you could provide. Maybe one a month, one every 3 months. It doesn't really have to be much. Use photos wherever possible. Social networks are a visual medium these days. Even Twitter now is visual. So think about the kind of images that you could present to your audience and to the population at large. So number one, they could be your own photos, which is best, because if you're in photography, then that's going to tell them what you do and what the quality of your work is. If they're your own photos, you don't have any issue with copyright. And if you're using photos off the web, just check the copyright license on those. Some things are Creative Commons, some things are free to use commercially or privately. Just check the rights that come with any images that you use. You can also go onto certain sites and create images like memes, where they have a stock standard set of photos and you can put some words around it. So they're quite useful little things to do every now and then as well. So use photos where possible because it's a visual thing. If you're using photos, particularly your own or anything you've created, like a meme or something like that, watermark it with your web address. Why? One, it's copywriting it for your name. Number two, it's promoting you. Now when you watermark it with your web address, don't put it on the bottom or the side where it can easily be cropped out. Put it somewhere in the middle, but don't make it so blatantly obvious that that's all that jumps out at people visually. Put it in there, but put it in there subtly, somewhere within the image so that they can't crop it, but in a lighter text or a lot of smaller font so that it's noticeable, but only just if they look for it. Photo posts are probably the best thing you can do, but mix that up every now and then with a text post. So simply just words, don't have to worry about images or anything else. Just occasionally, and they could be short ones, could be long ones, it doesn't matter. If you're using long ones, tell a story, make it a case study, make it a story about something. But if you're using a short text, it can just be, why in the world is the traffic always this bad at this roundabout on a Sunday afternoon? It could be anything, just something that will just raise a bit of curiosity, raise some engagement. There's a program, not a program, it's an app called Post Planner, POSTPLANNER. You can buy that service, or they've got a little free option there at the side where you can look at some predetermined posts. So things like if you were to make your life a movie, what movie would it be, kind of thing, which allows some engagement. So there's things like that around. Decide how often you want to post. So are you going to post every day? Are you going to post twice a day or 3 times? Are you going to post every second day, maybe once a week? Work out what's relevant for you and for your audience. If you've got people who aren't very socially networked, then maybe once a week is enough to at least capture the other people in that sort of client target group that you might be able to access. If it's something that your people are in there and they're on it and they're all there all the time, you might want to think about doing it more often. I'd suggest start a little bit slower till you get familiar with it and how it works, and then you can always ramp it up a bit more and do some extra posting. But I'd start with maybe once a day or once a week and see how that goes, and then settle into a pattern after that. But put that in your plan. Think about a theme for your posting days. So, for instance, you could have a fun kind of approach to Friday. So it's something more frivolous, it's something more light-hearted that you're posting. You could have a very business-oriented Tuesday. If you've got particularly business clients, then you might want to think about content that relates to them, and that'll be what you post on a Tuesday. You might post on a Thursday, and you might want to do something that's more newsworthy kind of stuff. So have a think about the kind of themes that you could have that relate to your audience and your business. But keep the theme to yourself. You don't have to put it there saying, hey guys, it's Fun Friday, let's do this. It's really just about helping you plan so that when you're thinking up the posts, you've got some frameworks to operate in, and those frameworks are the kind of days or the weeks that you're going to be doing. So you could have, every 3rd week in the month is about tips. So you know that your 3rd post, if you're doing a weekly posting, your 3rd week is going to be a post on tips. So it just helps you to think about a focus or a framework of building those posts. So you build those posts around the theme, and you don't have to think so hard about, oh, what am I going to post this time, or what other ideas can I have. If you thematically group your postings, makes it a lot easier. Think about doing a bunch of your posts ahead of time. So if you've got a Sunday afternoon that's a bit wet and damp and the family are out doing something else, sit down and give yourself an hour to 2 hours and just start to draft up a whole bunch of posts that will last you for maybe 3 months or 6 months or even 12 months. If you're doing weekly posting and you're doing 12 months worth of posts, you're only looking for 52, and that could be a mix of text, a mix of photos, a mix of other images. It could be a mix of themes that you're looking at applying. So have a think about how far ahead do you want to be prepared, given that at this time of the year it can be a little bit quieter, so you've got time available to do things, whereas when things ramp up and get busy, you won't have so much time to think about posts. But if you've got them on a spreadsheet in front of you, you don't have to think, it's already there, just plug it out and put it in. So I tend to use Excel. Excel's great because you can just plug the things in there, and then if I've got any extra ideas, I'll just send that to Excel as well. And as I say, plan them out so that you've got a set of scheduled posts for that period of time. And then if something crops up that's not on your plan, don't panic, just do an extra post. That's not a problem. It doesn't have to be on your plan. Your plan is a guide. It also is just giving you fodder to give stuff out to your social communication tool, rather than have to think of it on the spot every day or every week. Another thought. What do I post? Well, we've had a couple of comments. So think about any content that's relevant to you or your business and shows you as someone who knows what you're on about. You're an authority, you're an expert. This is your space. You own this. So things like tips are really good, but don't do a flood of tips for the whole week. Do a tip on a Monday, for instance. Pick one day and that becomes your theme. I'm going to give out tips. So if you're a photographer, tips could be, I'm going to give you a good tip about taking good pictures, or I'm going to give you a tip about how to prevent shaking when you're taking a photo, or I'm going to give you a tip about how to accommodate the light that you can just quickly take. This isn't a whole lesson, it's just a short thing that people can pick up on and think, oh, I didn't know about that. So any tip that you give, that's one post done. If you've got 10 tips you can think of, there's 10 posts done and dusted. If you're doing a weekly one, if you're doing it on a Monday, for instance, then you've got 10 weeks of posts already done. You might have a think about a post on why a business might use a photographer, if you're a photographer. So things like, it can increase morale, it can remind staff of why they're doing what they're doing, it can create a sense of pride, all those sorts of things. So for every reason you can think of why someone might use your services, that's a post. So one reason, one post. One reason, one post. I'm sure you can think of 3 to 5 to 10 reasons why people would want to use your services. Plug that into a post. Again, if you're a photographer, or if you've got some other business where you've got some imagery that you can use, there's an archive you've got, I'm sure, of footage that you could do a weekly theme or a monthly theme and say, just went into the archives and I found this picture and I just want to tell you a bit quickly about it because it really reminds me of have you got anything like that? So you can engage your audience, you can use some of your existing footage rather than have to recreate stuff or create new stuff all the time. Take advantage of quiet times and get your product areas done. In this case, this is for a particular client. I'm sure that person knows what AIAD means. But think about, your client could be having a quiet period of the year because it's seasonal. So, maybe it's Christmas season. And as a client, you might want to use that time as an advantage and use some of the services that I provide. So you could use that kind of an idea. Another idea for a post, it's my baby's birthday and I want to give you a special deal to celebrate. Another post could be like this, give me a like if you love photography, that sort of thing. These are other ideas. Again, I'm thinking photography. Have you been photo bombed? You can just ask that on a post. What's your worst photo story? What's your best photo story? What do you hate about having your picture taken? What do you hate about static business poses in photos? So there's a whole range of things. If you think about your business and if you think about your customers in relation to your business, just ask questions and then shoot those questions out on a post. You don't have to have people comment or like or share all the time. Over time, if you consistently build this profile, people will start to comment and get involved. So don't panic about the fact that you might be doing this stuff and you're thinking, but nobody's responding. It takes time. So remember, it's about trying to get interaction. It's about trying to engage people. It's informing them who you are and what you do. So think about liking and sharing other posts from other people as well, because that allows them to then have that show in their news feed, which then accesses people that you don't have in your news feed. So make sure that you like and share other people's stuff. It's also just generally good business practice. If somebody likes yours, then you like somebody else's. So it's about passing the good karma around. Be strategic and friend or connect with other people, even if you don't know them. So look at your friends' lists of friends on their network page and send that target person a message saying, I'm also friends with such and such and I'd like to hook up. Or I noticed that you went to such and such a school and I did as well. Or I noticed that you worked in this space and I did as well and I would like to hook up. So you can usually find a little entree to connect with someone. Another good way is I will quite often, if there's someone I want to connect with, I will quite often find their newsfeed, like something that's on their newsfeed, or share something if it's relevant. And as soon as I do that, I then send them a friend request, because that means that they've got a connection. So they've seen my like, they've seen my name as a request for friending. They don't know, they know at least I'm connected to them in some way, rather than your name just popping into someone's inbox and they've randomly got no idea who you are. So try and make it a connection. So either send them a message through the network system to say, this is why I want to connect you, or this is how we might know each other or know some connection, or do a like or share and then immediately friend them so that they've got the option they can connect who you are and where you fit in. Use IFTTT to link your accounts. Now IFTTT is if this then that. It's a little app that's brilliant, and it's free. And what it allows you to do is you can set it up in a number of different ways, but in this case I'd suggest you set it up so that it says, when I post to Facebook, I want you to then take that post and send it over to LinkedIn, and I want you to take it and send it to Twitter, so that when you post once on Facebook, it automatically posts across to LinkedIn and posts across to Twitter, so that gives you 3 postings and covers your entire social network. Why would you do that? Why would you send the same post to 3 different networks? Because you've got different people in each of those networks, however many networks you're in. So you will have some people who are on all of them, but you will have a lot of people who are only on Facebook or only on LinkedIn or only on Twitter. Doing this allows you to get maximum reach for the same post. Now, if you really want to, you can actually, do some changes, but look, realistically, the number of feeds that people get, that's perfectly fine. If people get a repetition, it's not a big issue. So think about setting it up through IFTTT. It will just reduce your workload effectively. There's another little tool called Buffer. Buffer is an app as well that's particularly for Facebook, and what Buffer does is it allows you to schedule posts to automatically deliver. Now yes, you can do that in Facebook as well, but I just find the Buffer app is a lot easier and quicker. Now you can pay for the Buffer app. There's additional facilities and services and longer time frames that you can schedule ahead, but for most of us Buffer is quite good because I think it does 5 to 7 posts, and you can tell it how often you want those posts to be released and the date and time, and that's perfectly fine for most of us, particularly as we're starting out. So use the free version. Each few days go back to your spreadsheet of your planned posts, pick out 5 to 7 that you want to put in for the next period, plug them into Buffer. Buffer will then take those and schedule them out on the date and time you have programmed in, and then once it then releases that and publishes it to Facebook, bang, IFTTT will pick that up and take it over to LinkedIn and take it over to to Twitter. So you have really got a great system in place, and you've already prepared your posts, so you don't have to think. It's just every week, here's a process I do. My task is take my posts, put it in a Buffer, done. Much easier. So plan your posts ahead. Make sure they're relevant to you and your business and your audience. Include some personal things, but not intensely personal. It's all entirely up to you. On average, about a quarter of your posts can be about an offer. It doesn't have to be that often, but don't do it any more frequently than that. Think about what your audience want to hear. Have a bit of an idea, get an idea. You can use some other tools to have a look at what people are liking and what they get benefit from. But use the opportunity to inform and educate people about you and what you're capable of. Set up IFTTT to auto post from Facebook to LinkedIn, and plug a bundle of your posts that you've prepared on your plan to put into Buffer and then schedule those times. So really, once you plan it, you then put them into Buffer, you are done. Does that sound pretty good? That is very simple. So look, I appreciate you spending time listening to me, and I've taken 20 minutes, which I didn't expect to take. Have a great time. I'll catch up with you some other time. Melanie Wass, melaniewass.com.